The idea that carbohydrates are the body's preferred source of energy has been repeated so often that it's rarely questioned. It's printed on cereal boxes, echoed by dietitians, and taught in schools as basic nutritional science. But this message, though technically true in very specific contexts, is grossly misleading for the vast majority of people, especially those leading sedentary or minimally active lives. In fact, for the modern, desk-bound individual, the notion that carbs are the best fuel source has become a dangerous myth, one that contributes directly to weight gain, insulin resistance, and chronic disease. The reality is that the body uses glucose, derived from carbohydrates, most efficiently during periods of intense activity, like running, weightlifting, or endurance sports. In such cases, fast-burning carbohydrates are indeed valuable for fueling muscular work and replenishing glycogen stores. But here's the critical point. Most people today do not live physically demanding lives. The average person spends most of their waking hours sitting, at work, in the car, on the couch. The only significant movement may be a short walk, climbing a few stairs, or lifting groceries. In this context, loading the body with a constant stream of starchy foods, white rice, pasta, cereal, bread, and sugary snacks, results in fuel the body doesn't need and can't burn. So what happens to those excess carbohydrates? Once the body's immediate energy needs and glycogen storage limits are met, any surplus glucose is converted into fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis. Unlike fat and protein, which are more tightly regulated and slower to metabolize, carbohydrates convert quickly into energy, or, if unused, into body fat. And the more sedentary the lifestyle, the more likely it is that this conversion will occur. Simply put, if you're not moving, you're not burning, and if you're not burning, you're storing. The issue becomes worse when these unused carbs are paired with a high-calorie, low-protein, low-fiber eating pattern, something incredibly common in modern diets. Think of the classic energy-packed meals promoted in commercials and fitness branding: a bowl of cereal, a granola bar, a sandwich, a plate of pasta. These meals may be marketed as fuel, but for someone who sits at a desk all day, they are a recipe for fat gain, blood sugar instability, and metabolic burnout. Insulin plays a major role in this equation. When you eat carbohydrates, insulin is released to help shuttle the resulting glucose into your cells. If your muscles are depleted from exercise, those carbs are put to good use. But if your muscles are already full and your energy needs are low, insulin instead drives that glucose into fat storage. Worse, frequent carbohydrate intake throughout the day, 3 meals, snacks, sugary drinks, keeps insulin levels elevated, putting the body in a near-constant fat-storing mode and never allowing time for fat burning. Over time, this repeated exposure to high insulin and glucose levels can lead to insulin resistance, a condition in which the body's cells stop responding properly to insulin signals. This is the precursor to type 2 diabetes and is closely linked to belly fat accumulation, systemic inflammation, and cardiovascular disease. Yet most people unknowingly drift into this condition while believing they're eating for energy, unaware that their low activity level changes how food is processed in their body. There's also a psychological cost to this myth. Many people feel guilty for being tired or unfocused in the afternoon and reach for more carbohydrates, energy bars, cookies, soft drinks, thinking their bodies just need more fuel. In reality, they are trapped in a cycle of blood sugar crashes and cravings that are symptoms of overconsumption, not underfueling. The constant intake of carbs trains the body to expect quick energy rather than tapping into fat stores, leading to greater dependence on frequent meals and snacks just to maintain normal function. The marketing industry has exacerbated this misunderstanding by conflating physical activity with general existence. Ads promote sugary cereals, snack bars, and sports drinks as essential energy for a busy lifestyle. But busy doesn't mean physically demanding. Mental fatigue from work or stress does not increase your glucose needs. Yet many reach for carbohydrates in these moments, confusing psychological tiredness with a biological energy shortfall, only to feel worse later as the sugar high crashes into another slump. In truth, most sedentary individuals would benefit from reducing carbohydrate intake and allowing their bodies to rely more on fat for energy, something the body is very good at doing when given the chance. When carbohydrate intake is lowered and insulin levels are allowed to drop, the body gradually shifts to a fat-burning mode, leading to improved energy stability, fewer cravings, and reduced fat storage. This isn't about following a trendy low-carb diet. It's about aligning your food intake with your actual energy output. This mismatch, eating like an athlete while living like a couch potato, is one of the great silent drivers of the obesity and metabolic crisis. And it's not just about weight. Overloading on carbohydrates without the physical output to burn them increases the risk of fatty liver disease, chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalances, and even cognitive dysfunction. The bottom line is that carbohydrates can be a powerful fuel source, but only when the body has a genuine need for fast-burning energy. In the absence of such demand, they become a liability, not an asset. The myth that carbs are necessary for everyone, all the time, has led to a generation of undermoved, overfed individuals whose health is deteriorating under the weight of dietary advice that no longer fits modern life. Until that myth is dismantled, many will continue to eat for a lifestyle they don't live, paying the price in blood sugar crashes, fat accumulation, and long-term metabolic damage.